It's Monday, March 15th, 2021, and this is The Inbox with Greg Nibler. All right, yes, indeed. Hello, everyone. It is Monday, March 15th, as we said, and you are watching The Inbox with Greg Nibler. That's me, courtesy of 2Box Media, TWO Box Media. Hit subscribe, follow, share, all of that stuff. You know what to do wherever it is that you're finding us, but thanks for joining us here today for Monday's episode, where I'm going to catch you up to date on some big news in tech, some entertainment stories, all kinds of stuff. Let's get it started right now. We have a product release announcement, and it's for this week, for Wednesday, March 17th. Coming from Samsung with their Awesome Unpacked Event. They said the awesome part. I'm not saying that because I don't really know what's coming up, but here's what we kind of expect from this. So Samsung already had an Unpacked Event earlier this year. That's the thing. They already released like their higher end phones, the 21, all of that stuff. So what can we get from another Samsung event? Well, it's going to be those mid-range phones, which is all the rage with all of the phone manufacturers. And I'm talking about the Samsung A line of phones. Last year, they had the A51, the A71. These two come in that mid-tier along the lines of what like an iPhone SE or even the Google Pixel 4a, those kinds of phones where it's not as expensive, but still not, your base bottom phones. These still come loaded with some features, just at a more tolerable price range for some people. So that's what we're expecting this to have a lot of. Now, with that, in particular, as far as the improvements, again, the A52, A72, those are the next ones up in that line of phones. So we think that we're probably going to get those. What that also means, what I'm going to guess, this is a little bit of speculation, because we don't know everything for sure, but we do think this is what it's going to be focused on, is that you'll also get some 5G, more capabilities for those mid-range phones in 5G. For a reference point, Samsung's mid-range currently, or at least when it came out last year, they range from $110 all the way up to about $600 for the top-of-the-line 5G A71. I guess that would be last year's. But the A72, A52, maybe they'll drop those prices down even more. We don't know for sure, but I have to think that 5G is going to be a big part of that. Yeah, you'll see that kind of spread out more. Every phone manufacturer is slowly bringing that down. If you remember a couple of years ago or even a year ago, those were only top tier functions. Now you're seeing them in more and more as 5G does continue to roll out, although not quite as quick as we all wanted it to be. Nonetheless, that is what you can get with that Samsung phone, so check that out. And again, we'll be carrying that event too, so it's on Wednesday, March 17th, I believe, 7 a.m. Pacific. I'll get the time right. Yeah, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, so we'll be restreaming that as well, and so you can follow along and see what else they get. Maybe we'll get some surprises, like a Galaxy Watch update. Hard to say. It's Samsung, though. I'm sure it'll be a well-produced event. That's on Wednesday. All right, continuing on here with trending news topics that I want to bring you. This one could be the greatest invention of technology in the last year if you're getting tired of Zoom meetings. So this is what we have here. It's a web extension, but it's called Zoom Escaper. And here's what Zoom Escaper does. It helps you figure out ways to basically tank a Zoom meeting if you don't want to be in it. So this invention is, like I said, it's a web extension that you put on there, and then you can add in different sounds and different things to make your Zoom meeting go terribly. So this is from an artist named Sam Levine, and he posted this up. He's got a demo here kind of showcasing. What it does is it overtakes your microphone, so you run your microphone through the web extension, and then it puts it back out into Zoom. Then, from there, you can add in all kinds of different effects to just make it not work as right. Things that, probably that a lot of people are used to. Echo, especially at the beginning, a year ago, which is hard to believe this was a year ago, really that we started all of this, maybe over now. But echo, sound, audio, huge issue for a lot of people. That's something that you can make happen on purpose by adding in the echo. Make it untenable for anybody to want to listen to you. You can get a bad connection where your audio will be broken up while you're going through it. You can even have some other interesting ones. Construction, we probably all dealt with a little bit of that in a Zoom meeting. Wind, I don't know how that works. A dog has got to be one of the most common ones. And a crying baby. Now, you do have to make sure that they're convinced that you do have a baby. If they know you don't have a child, that could get really weird really quick if you just have a crying baby in the background. But nonetheless, all things that you can do with this. There's some extra ones in there, like man weeping and urination. Again, if you feel comfortable putting those out there, if you really don't want to be in the Zoom meeting that bad, maybe that is for you. I'm sorry. That's just a man weeping in the background. I have to go right now. It's called Zoom Escaper. Check this out. I love it. Sam Levine, again, that's the creator of this. It is really, really fun to play around with. There you go. That might be something you can try out today, later on in a meeting that you don't want to be in. Or maybe it's, a family call. You want to get out of that somehow. All that stuff is possible. All right. A couple more things here to bring you up to date on. Let's talk about SpaceX. There's hardly a week or a day that goes by that SpaceX isn't in the news in some capacity, and a lot of it is because they keep on breaking records, and that's what they've done again with the Falcon 9 rocket, and this time setting up another batch of 60 Starlink satellites, but it is the 9th time this particular rocket has been used, breaking its own record yet again. 9 times reusing the same rocket. That is huge, and that's one of the big things that SpaceX is really touting, that they're depending on, is that ability to reuse it. It brings the price down, makes space more accessible for everyone, and they're doing it for themselves anyway because they also own Starlink for this particular launch. This rocket was also used on Demo 1, which was that crewless Dragon capsule, that first one that went up to the International Space Station before sending people on it, so they used it for that. They've used it for other Starlink launches. Clearly, 9 things, including this one. Now, for the Starlink side of things, this puts another 60 up. That's how many they put up usually every time that they send up a Falcon 9 rocket. And that means at this point, Starlink has well over 1,000 satellites out there as part of its constellation to provide internet to basically anywhere on the planet eventually. Right now, they're testing out in North America and a couple of other places, I believe, around the world. There's beta testing going on. The speeds so far have been pretty impressive. It does cost, I believe it's $500 to get one of the units. That's expected to go down in time as well. So Starlink really is coming up. And with this, this idea of getting these speeds that are basically on par with what cable that we get now, maybe up to gig, eventually, it's pretty impressive what they'd be able to do. They also, of note, filed a thing with the FCC, that's a technical term for you, filed something with the FCC wanting to eventually bring this into cars. So they want to be able to do that. Cars and more stationary things also away from a home, because the box is big now. But if you can put it into a car, imagine getting satellite internet wherever you are at any time. You'd always have directions. You'd always have connectivity. Whether you want it or not, I'm sure you could turn it off if you don't want it. But I think the benefits kind of outweigh the negatives on that, just because connectivity and access to the internet is such a huge issue for so many people. That's on the Starlink side. But regardless, SpaceX with this rocket launch, really, really impressive. Again, great footage. And they'll be sending up another 2, I believe, actually, by the end of this month. So more to expect from that. But again, the Falcon 9 rocket setting a record and putting up 60 more Starlink satellites. All right, one more topic for you here. Let's transition from tech to entertainment, but still kind of tech in a way. Let's talk about the Oscars. Yes, the Oscars are still happening, although they are delayed. They're going to be happening later on in April this year, but the nominations just came out this morning for all of the illustrious awards. And here is what we know. The streaming services are dominating. There's a lot of streaming services getting that, and that makes sense, especially over this last year. As we know, not a lot of new movies have come out. People haven't been going to theaters. I don't need to really explain that to you, but you get it. And so these streaming services have really been just dominating, and that transitions over here into these awards. Let's kind of go through just a couple of them, talking about the 93rd Annual Academy Awards. So Netflix, they have Mank, which came out earlier last year. There we go. But Mank has 10 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor. That's a Netflix-produced one. They also have another movie in the running for Best Picture, so that's 2 out of the 8 nominations, and the other one is for The Trial of the Chicago 7, and Sacha Baron Cohen's also nominated for Best Actor in that. So Netflix kind of really getting a lot of these nominations out of the gate. You also have Judas and the Black Messiah, which was originally going to appear in theaters, but then with HBO Max and Warner making that decision to release their films on the streaming service the same time it would go into theaters, that's obviously where a lot of people watch that. But it's getting up some awards as well, including 2 nominations for Best Supporting Actor. So both Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya got the Best Supporting Actor nomination nods. You also have something else. It's one of the most diverse nominations as far as all of the Academy Award history. If you remember a few years ago, the hashtag Oscars So White was a big trending thing for a reason. Well, now that is changing a bit. It's more diverse, and there's more women getting nominated, including in the Best Director category. You have 2 different women for the first time in that category. You have Emerald Fennell, for Promising Young Women, and Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. Nomadland, another one that came out on Hulu. It was going to be in the theaters. It is in limited run to theaters, but still, Hulu's where a lot of people watched it, getting nominated for that. Also for Best Picture. And Frances McDormand, who seems like pretty much every time she's nominated is going to win because she's amazing, is also up for Best Actress. So there's a lot that could come into play here, but it's definitely exciting to see how streaming services have changed the landscape. Whether you like the Oscars or not, whether it means anything to you, it certainly shows the power of where we're at right now. And you'd have to imagine next year you're going to have some things from Disney+. I mean, I can't imagine WandaVision not getting nominated for something, or, whatever else comes out this year. But streaming services are dominating right now, and that transitions into that. So the Oscars, the actual date, let me give you that. So it is April 25th. There's a little song there to go with it, so that's for my Oscar nomination. April 25th is when that is going to be happening, and it will be live streamed as well. So no host so far, but maybe that'll change by the time we get there. April 25th for the Academy Awards. And if you, speaking of movies and television shows and all that, and I'm sure you're looking for something to watch, guess what? We've got videos for you to check out. That's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/2boxmedia, TWO Box Media. Go there, take a look. We've got a guide for what to watch in January, February, March. We'll have one coming up for April as well. And also we've got guides for like Paramount Plus and all kinds of other stuff that is great for you to check out. And that's why you might want to hit subscribe there. So youtube.com/2boxmedia, or whatever platform you're on, wherever you're watching, TWO Box Media. We just thank you for being a part of this. It's great. It's always fun to be here with you. Lots of stuff coming up. Lots of great things on the horizon that we're going to be telling you about here in the next coming weeks. And regardless, we just appreciate you being a part of this. So thanks for watching. This is The Inbox with Greg Nibler, and we'll be back soon with another episode.